my gosh.
It's like, oh, time to go to bed.
And
Okay.
I'm a night owl,
call
so it's quite often that I'm up till 2 or whatever.
Good to know.
But if I don't get the text, I'll just text you the next morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Gary, all I have to say is this for today.
We're so worthy.
I just started it. Okay. So Gary, get me that check as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay, I want to go through the manual, and I just want to make sure everybody's clear about what you're doing. So,
I'm late. I'm gonna have to go get my hair.
go ahead.
Congratulations, that's my letter.
You might want to.
We'll start on page 2. Did you identify what dream or vision makes it worth it to create the money? For anybody that hasn't? Good. Did you play the genie game? Is there anybody that hasn't? Okay. When you put what's vital to you on the table, did you make the game real? Is there anybody that used anything other than house or money? Like, is somebody using a different thing for their visualization so that it's worth it? Anything creative? Kim?
Using on self-expression and
Your dream of full self-expression. Good. Good. Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, I have the same. Is self-expression and actually stepping into who I am fully.
Stepping into who I am. Okay. Good. Is love life something that you want to not even think about until you get yourself together, or would that mean a lot to you?
It's in the same package. Yeah, that would mean a lot.
Okay, good, terrific. If finding a man that would treat you like you deserve means a lot to you, then put that on the table as well.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Good. It's whatever gets your blood up the most.
And that gets my blood up.
Good. 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 Lance?
Well, for me, it's kind of having the time to do some of the hobbies and stuff that you normally don't get to because you're kind of living paycheck to paycheck. And money for me isn't so much so I can buy nice things, but it's I can buy time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. A picture of you being able to have lots of time with your kids and whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, good. Catherine?
Well, now that I'm getting my house, then my next thing that I'm working on is a car.
Good. Great. Terrific. Okay, so when you text me and say, I did it, and then a number, 75%, 85%, whatever. When you say I did it, it means that you did your visualization twice a day, right? And you did your new skill. And most importantly, you did the strategy that came to you when you did your visualization, putting something on the table. See, you have to understand that unless you put something on the table that really means the world to you, like I know that any parent who had to come up with the money for a life-saving operation and the insurance wasn't going to cover it, you know, before they let their kid die, they would be out there begging people on the street. They would do whatever it takes. They would call every person they know who has money. They would do amazing things. And that's what you have to put on the table. And then when you say, if that was real, what would I do to create the money? Now, depending on what you put on the table is going to depend on what you're thinking, how you're brainstorming creates strategies. A low-level intention is going to create a whole different set of strategies than a high level of intention. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had times when I had to come up with $10,000 in a day or I was going to lose my company. Literally. And I, thank goodness I knew something about intention. Started making some phone calls, you know what I mean? Got a guy who said, if you can find half of it, I'll pitch in the other half.
Wow.
So he wanted to sponsor somebody into the awakening. So what I'm saying is, when it's important enough, you will come up with different strategies than if you have a low-level intention. Okay?
I have a question about
Yeah.
the percentage.
Yeah.
When I put my percentage in, it's not on the effort that I put in. It's on the feeling that I had behind the effort. In other words, I do the same effort every day. But there was one day that I felt that nothing was working, and it felt like I was hitting my head against the wall. So that's when I put down, it felt like 55%. Even though my intention was 100%, it just didn't get there. It was just like, I wanted to scream. So that is how I send my percentage. I don't know if that's how I'm supposed to send it.
The way the percentage works is that, like everything else in life, it's whatever you say is so.
Okay.
Now, some of you might fool yourself in saying, I hit 100%. And it's more about looking good than it is about, did you really hit the mark? And the test of whether you know you hit the mark is because then Spirit lends a hand. If you really hit 100%, Spirit would lend a hand and suddenly money would show up out of the blue.
Okay.
Well, like where, I've got 2 or 3 things that I'm working on, but as far as the multi-level, my business portion of it, I put down 100% because out of nowhere, I picked up 25 email addresses, from things that have been going across my desk, and I just put those all on the send to and put a little, the subject line, business opportunity, and give it a little spurb, and attached all this stuff to it, and I sent it out. To me, that's unreal. That's something I would never do, and I just think for me to grab 24 names out of the blue and do something like that.
If you
I
feel
feel like that was 100.
If you
above
feel
100%.
like it's 100%, then it's 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you're not hitting that 100% yet, you just want to ask yourself, what's stopping me? That's the value of the lesson. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter whether you create the money for the awakening or not. What matters is that you experience a game where you get to see if you can let yourself have faith enough to jump off the cliff and go 100%.
Okay, question. Now, you told me I was going to fail in the business aspect of it, and I needed to come up with another thing. So my question
I didn't say you were going to fail. I said that as long as you're playing the way you typically play, it hasn't got a hope in hell.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, though,
if you play differently, you could make a miracle. Although most people who know multi-level would say to try to come up with $7,000 or $10,000 within a matter of a month and a half is not exactly easy.
If we do what we're supposed to do, that shouldn't be a problem. So that's what I'm working towards. It shouldn't be a problem. We've got one leg that, all we got to do is do some matching on the other. And it really shouldn't be a problem. But you said come up with some backup plan. But now I have 3 or 4 names, people that I could ask money from, but I'm that's a backup plan. I'm going to kind of wait, for a little longer to see what happens, because
that's okay.
I really don't want to go and ask them for money if something else is going to work.
Well, one thing you can do is say, I'm looking for backups. me and my wife are really committed to this. We want to do whatever it takes to make it happen. If I tell them I believe the network marketing thing is going to pan out, if it doesn't, is there a way that I could borrow it from you so that I can get in? Because I don't want to wait a year.
I don't want them to think about it. I don't want them to wait for a month. No, I just, when I ask them, I want it beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I get it, but
I know.
I'm not sure if this is Bob kind of backing around, or you know what I mean?
When I ask them, I mean, I've got it set up, and I'm preparing a little package and everything too. I want them to see what it is. I want them to see what we've been doing with you, and I'll tell them about the changes in my life that it's made and what I expect from the awakening.
Okay, so you don't think that when you go to talk to them that you'll dance around?
No. I will say, look, this is what we are doing, and this is what we want to do, to finish this off, because it's changing our lives and it'll change our families' lives. Blah 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 blah. And we've been working towards this, and we haven't gotten there yet, and we need.
Wonderful.
Will you help us with this? So, no, I will go 100% with it. And
I would say, don't wait longer than a couple of weeks, so you can give them some evidence, some proof that you are working hard and it is going to pay off. Okay?
Okay.
Good.
I'm just concerned that if I say, I'm working towards this and trying to make the money to do this and everything like that, and then I come back 3 or 4 weeks later and say, I wasn't able to do it. Will you give me, $10,000 for us? How that will work. I mean, is this class really helping you to do what you want to do? And I just want to be able to present it to them and say, this is what we're doing and this is what we want to accomplish.
Yeah. Do you feel like what you're doing with the network marketing thing is working?
I think will. I've got to call a guy as soon as I get from Idaho Falls, as soon as I get out of here tonight, and we're going to see a chiropractor tonight after we get through here, and then we've got 2 or 3 other really good prospects. So
good.
All we need to do is get 3 or 4 more people signed up, and I have no doubts we're going to have that money from this business.
Good.
Awesome.
Okay. Okay. So, did you play the game twice a day? What strategies did you come up with in order to win the prize? Because you'll come up with different strategies if you have a higher level of intention. And remember that Spirit will lend a hand when you hit the mark and act on your strategy at 100%. Okay? And then you have a new skill, so when you say I did it, it means that you're doing your new skill as well. And are you all in touch with a phone buddy who can support you about how you did yesterday and what do you want to do differently today?
Yes.
Okay. If you're taking on a project like this and you're really going for making the money, it's not abnormal. It's actually quite typical for fears and doubts to come to the surface.
Stupid question, but I mean, does it have to be a phone buddy? I mean, can we talk to each other about our...
Doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Whoever works for you. If Denise works for you, then great. Use
What
Denise.
we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's easier. It's more convenient.
Have a phone buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
So, is there anybody that's coming up with fears and doubts that are getting in their way, that are stopping them? Joel?
I think I've worked on that today. I had my first empowerment dialogue.
Who'd you have it with?
Sandra Murphy.
Sandra Mobile?
Mobile.
That's great. How'd you do?
I got a lot out of it.
Yeah.
I did, because I've never been through that
Yeah.
particular process before.
Right.
It's different.
Yeah.
But I truly feel I got a lot out of it. But as far as fears and doubts, your friend Wilbur over there spent much of Saturday night and almost all of Sunday just yelling at my ear. And
Yeah. And what kind of things was it yelling?
you can't do this. That you're going to go to the 3/4 waypoint and sabotage it. You've done it before. You'll do it again. Everything that some of the stuff that 40 years ago, 45 years ago, I heard my father saying to me.
Yeah.
And today I finally got to sit down and tell them, this is what we're going to do. And you guys are going to help me. And I got a lot of that. It feels good. But
Good.
yeah, Wilbur was
Yeah.
all over me Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. That's very normal, very typical.
Thanks.
So you understand. I want to teach you guys the formula for success. Okay.
Okay.
This is the formula for success. Okay. Impossible. Great. I'll do it. Didn't happen. So what? New game. See, when you look at why people live small, it's because of fear. You know, negative associations, negative self-concept. You know, and when you look at why it's scary to take on something like trying to manifest the money for the awakening or whatever, it's because not only are they afraid that they won't do it, but worse than that, they're afraid that other people will know that they're trying to go for it, and then when it falls through, everybody will know that you failed.
Yes.
Worse than the fact that I failed is the fact that everybody will know that I failed. I don't know. Okay? And so I want you to remember what I said the first night of 30 days, that if you decide to act as if you're good enough, like if you decide to go for it, okay, then that decision will strengthen and lift and empower you no matter how it turns out. You could, like you said, you had $1,500 worth of promises, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you didn't get another dime the rest of the time before the awakening, so you end up having to do it next year, okay? The fact that you're going for it now is going to strengthen and empower you and lift you in ways that nothing else could, because you're going for it. That's why I don't care if you make the money happen. I know that it's fantastic if you just go for it. It's acting as if you're good enough. Just that.
I wish somebody 45 years ago, when I was coming out of high school, 50 years ago when I was coming out of high school, and my graduation party had said that. But he didn't.
Yeah, I really want to see you make the awakening.
Oh, I want to see you make the
And
awakening.
you cannot imagine how good you're going to feel. Okay, somebody had their hands up. Annette?
I just wanted to tell you that.
Oh, let's acknowledge Joe.
I wanted to share with the class, I kept hearing, ever since I met Gary, I kept hearing him say, I know why Spirit will show up for you. And the other night, I woke up in the middle of a dream, and I was like, duh. But it took me a while. Like, I heard you say it every time, and I acknowledged it every time. And then it finally clicked in me. It's like, well, Spirit always makes things happen for me. And I had just been in such, like, so beaten up for the last 6 months by life that I forgot that place in me where it's like I really trusted and had faith. But the other night, it really hit me hard, and I kept hearing your voice in my dream. Well, I know why Spirit will show up for you. I can see that. And you had that faith, and it made me rise up to my own faith. And I was like, wait a minute. Gary has some profound things to say with my soul reading and the genie game and this and that. And it was like Spirit was already talking to me through your words. And then some really amazing things have happened recently. And I was so focused the other day. I don't know what happened, but I started driving that I was so focused. Oh, I know. I did a blessing at my new work. I did a Reiki blessing on the whole entire thing because there's a lot of chaos. And I'm like, I cannot work in this chaos. I need to protect my own energy because it's already been frazzled and I don't want any more of it. And as I held space for my place of work, I got in my car and I grounded because it was like I was shaking while I was doing it. There was so much energy that was ungrounded. And on my way to my next destination was my house. I'm running late with my friend who's my business partner, and I just like, I need to ground. And all I could see was focus. And the universe just showed me, like, this is how you focus. And I had lost that. And then I had some accountability with John because I was running late with him. And I said, everything this morning happened out of my control. And I am so sorry, but I am here now. And I'm so sorry that it's happened not just once, it's happened a few times because the key to the freezer broke and I couldn't get product for my client. And it made everything just do this. So we talked about accountability, we talked about things, and I just said I commit to being where I need to be with you on time from here on. So everything changed after that. But the thing that hit me in the last couple of days was the fact that you kept saying that to me, and I acknowledged it, but I didn't feel it hit me until later, and now I feel that that is within me. So it made some huge changes in me, and I was like, but Spirit kept reminding me, well, Gary's been saying it to you, it's going to be fine, you're going to be able to make it happen. And then, you know, my clients started calling again and stuff like that. So things are aligning, but only because I've asked to align myself. And that is one thing I've been working on every day. I align with everything, including time here on Earth. So it's been huge.
Okay, acknowledge. Well, I've known since I met you that you have an amazing ability to manifest. Like that's why I thought it'd be good for you to sign up, because I know that if now there's a gap between your soul, your spirit, and your personality. For all of us, your personality may be too scared to let your soul do it. But if your personality says, yeah, I'm willing to act on faith, then for you particularly, it would just manifest. It would just show up. Okay? And I want to remind you that when you go to share, you do a lot of sidetracking. Mm-hmm. Like, you go to make a point, but before you make the point, you sidetrack over here. Then sometimes you sidetrack from that sidetrack and go to another sidetrack. And eventually, there's a point made. Although you pretty much lose most of the people before you ever get to your point. And the reason I'm telling you this is because it's really, really hard for you not to try to grab everybody's attention, and you think the way to do that is by sidetracking. And it's exactly the opposite. For you, when you push, you're too much. When you allow, you're a lot. And everybody wants to be with you. Everybody wants to play with you. So I want you to see if you can, when you share, I want you to share in 3 sentences, bottom line.
I understand, and I forgot about that, and thank you for reminding me. I've had a lot happen in the last 3-4 days that I did sidetrack, and I also had a product that had caffeine yesterday that I was trying.
You did it again.
Yes.
What's your point? What are you trying to say?
I've been very sidetracked, and thank you for reminding me. But
Okay.
that threw me off so hard. I was so sick. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
Good. Yeah. Good. I can't explain it to you right now. It'd take too much time, but I just want you to know, if you could see the science behind what I'm saying, you'd realize that the faster you can learn how to talk in bottom lines, the faster everything in your life will explode.
I understand.
Wow.
Okay?
I appreciate it.
Good. And I also want you to know the only reason I can be this direct with you is because of how tough your spirit is.
No, I want it.
Some people, I can't talk like this because they're too delicate, and I gotta wait until they get enough stronger, and all that stuff. But I just want you to know it's actually an honor that you're strong enough that I can be straight with you.
Thank you.
You betcha.
And I really appreciate
Yeah,
that
you betcha.
you are that direct with me, because that makes me move to where I need to be quicker.
Great.
So,
Good job.
welcome.
Acknowledge. One of the things I love about the Awakening is that everybody at the Awakening gets moments when they get to see how can they be authentic to the point where everybody's tails are wagging. Like you'll literally know what it is about you that everybody eats up with a spoon. And you'll find out that when you're just being yourself is when that happens. When you're being authentic, that's when it happens. Okay.
The what is it when you sit in the two chairs
Empowerment dialogue.
is phenomenal, because on my day that I was rock bottom, Kim comes over every day and says, how are we doing, and so on. And we did the empowerment. There was a block from 2-year-old that was blocking me, that was obviously not getting me there, that was sorted out in that empowerment thing, that I'm like, unbelievable. So thank you for making that part of this course, because I would never have gone there if I didn't want it so badly and felt the wall hit me so hard. And Kim coming, I didn't even want her to come. It's like, oh, I've got nothing to say. And she said, okay, how about let's do an empowerment dialogue. And oh my gosh, what an eye-opener. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, way to go, Kim. Kim, I want you to know that I have grown increasingly impressed with you.
Yay!
When staff asked me who could help with participant support, I had become just enough impressed with you that I said, I think you ought to try Kim. Because you're responsible, you're accountable, you're not afraid to have courage. It's great, fantastic. Can't acknowledge you enough. Way to go. Any other fears? Kim?
I had a fear of my calling. I didn't even know. Every time I try to think about it, it buzzes my head like zzz, can't think. So I did a little bit of chair work with Ingrid's assistant, like just helping me stay conscious, and I figured out I had to do an awakening style breakthrough, because while I was in the chair work, it brought me right into that room.
Yeah.
Last year, I'm like, okay. So I called out Laurie, and this afternoon we did the awakening style breakthrough. And I feel like I can deal with that buzz. If it comes out, I have a strategy, and I know where it's coming from.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So what was the fear?
Fear of getting lost, fear of answering my calling to be who Spirit wants me to be, or my mission.
Yeah.
And
so what's so scary about that?
I don't know. Ask my Wilbur.
Yeah. Tell me what Wilbur says.
Wilbur says, "You're gonna die." I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Give me more. It's just that you're gonna die.
It's vague.
Yeah, very vague.
Good.
No
yeah,
good reason.
fear hides in vagueness.
Very vague.
If you make it be specific, you shrink the fear.
Yeah.
When you hear Wilbur's voice saying, "You're gonna die," say, "Okay, when? How? By what? Like, what would make me feel like dying?" And when it has to get specific, you notice that the fear shrinks.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what I found in the empowerment dialogue.
Yeah.
Is being coached onto now what? Now what? It was she kind of is, I guess, as part of the job, the facilitating it. but you know, it wasn't telling me what to say. It's just now what?
Yep.
Now what? That's an incredible question. Or you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's acknowledge Kim. Okay, somebody else? Catherine?
So, first of all, this is distracting me, this noise. There's like the speakers on some music
It's my
station.
In my room?
I don't know where it is, but I just hear
Okay, let me turn it on.
music distracting me.
wow.
I heard too.
You a dog? No. I can't hear.
No, I just I'm still having a hard time with it. Oh, you gotta avoid that.
Good.
I forgot it was
Give me a chance to pick up my chocolate.
I had an allergic.
Samson had his hair, I have chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate.
Okay, go ahead.
So I am doing this enormous stretch for me, and Gary's helping coach me, and that is because I've been manifesting a house, which to me is huge. It's this huge miracle, and to me it'd be my normal self before would say that's enough. I don't want to try anything else on top of that. And Gary was reminding me there's always stuff that comes up, and that I have my goals with my Legal Shield business, and I want to keep momentum and get momentum and then keep it, and that if I'm always letting little things stop me, so I've had a lot of fear about trying to do too much because that was my old ways, and so it's a real stretch. So anyway, I just need one more point tomorrow, and then I have a friend who would enroll, and so anyway, so I'm just like this close. So yeah, so I'm really
You have four,
excited.
you only need one more?
I have, well, my friend could sign up for 3 points.
Oh,
Yeah, so then I just
I
need
got it.
one more to do that.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about it because I can manifest a house and becoming in performance club.
Great.
So, but there's, just that fear of the little Wilbur thoughts and everything,
Right.
This
Yeah.
is too much.
What are you going to do next week? Since you completed everything all in 1 week.
No, I have
Yeah,
other,
I know.
yeah, other plans for next month.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Acknowledged. By the way, if any of you are not signed up in Legal Shield, I can't recommend it strongly enough. I mean, I bet every year I save thousands of dollars for my little $16 a month fee. You know what I mean? Like, to not have a lawyer at your disposal whenever you need one is nuts. If you've ever had any legal issues, you'll understand that if you don't have something like Legal Shield, when it comes time and you need a lawyer, you're going to spend a lot of money. A lot of money.
It sure feels good to have it, so thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for recommending it because
Yeah.
I felt alone in the waters.
Yeah.
And since I have my little card in my pocket, it's like such a good feeling.
Yeah, I'll bet every year I save at least $2,000 to $3,000.
Wow.
At least. If you have a small business, there's no way you won't get caught up in legal stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Gary?
Yeah, fear was coming up for me. So glad that I'm doing the 30 days and having the phone buddy.
Yeah.
And because, mine is huge. And I was talking to my landlady the other day about my goal. And I said, it's not really about the money. It's about showing me that I can actually do that myself, not with my business partner and all
Right.
my staff. And it was
Right.
just so huge. And I kept on running up against the wall with the PayPal thing because all my family that I wanted to do it with can't do it. My wife can't do it because they all have issues with having too much money coming in. And so I just ground and just decided to jump right in and paid off the PayPal. So now I have my business PayPal back and my personal PayPal back, and now I can move forward. It was a major, and I realized that I was letting that be my block to block me from being able to really step into this not only the 30 days, but also into this goal.
What do you think the block was saying in terms of the fear? Give it a voice. What was scary?
You're not enough. You can't be enough, and well, if you can't collect the money, then you can't be enough. So there you go.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was. I couldn't collect money.
Yeah.
I could go through all the work, but I couldn't actually receive money.
On page 3, where it says identify what's the fear if you do the awakening, right? That's a really good example, because the fear is if I make it into the awakening, I'm going to push the issue once and for all and find out, is it really true that I'm not whatever, I'm not enough, I'm unlovable, I'm abandoned, whatever your emotional black hole is. That's why it's scary to do the awakening, because they honestly believe subconsciously that they're going to find out once and for all. And some part of them feels like, well, probably it'll work for everybody else, but not me.
Yeah.
I'm the one bad apple in the apples, you know. So you got past it.
So I got past it.
Good.
Yay.
And is the strategy still working on the internet thing where you got $100 per
Oh
person?
yeah, absolutely. Now I can actually receive money.
Good. Good.
No,
And does it look like you're going to have enough for you? And then Rebecca said you're thinking about maybe even seeing if you can make enough for both of you. Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both myself, her, and Calvin,
And everyone
and
here.
possibly my sister.
Wow. You think it's going to generate that much money?
Yeah, I only have to do like 6 a day.
Great. And you got enough contacts to do that?
Yeah, I've got lots
Oh.
of contacts.
Okay.
I've got 1.6 million people in my groups.
Wow.
That's a lot of contacts.
That's a lot of content.
Yeah.
Well, that alone is pretty good evidence that you're good enough.
Yeah.
I know.
You know anybody else that has 1 point some odd million contacts in their database?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Facebook.
in my Facebook groups, yeah.
Great. Good.
This is-
Okay, acknowledge. Anybody else? Bob.
I have my typical fear, you know, when I was putting that email together, you know, I'm sitting there working on it, and maybe I better make some changes, and I reread it, and you know, is that really what I want to say? Because I'm afraid of what they're going to think. Most of them I don't even know them, and I mean I even put in the email, I don't know you, but you know, and I'm afraid of, you know, what they're going to think. You know, I mean, like, who are you?
Yeah.
You know, multi-level. Don't come to me without
Right.
this. You know, I mean, we've all heard this and stuff. I mean, Wilbur's saying all these reasons why I shouldn't be contacting them and stuff. And I don't know how many times I go to send it, and then I kind of shrink it and do some more of my work. You know, my work, and bring it back up, and I reread it, make sure it's what I want to say and stuff. And finally, I just said, you know, this is stupid. You know, I mean, first place, they don't know who I am. You know, and I mean, what's the worst that they can do? They can tell me no. You know, but I mean, even out of these 25 people, if only 2 of them, you know, showed some interest and got back with me and talked to me and stuff, you know, that's great. You know, and so man, I finally, great. You know, boom, I hit it. I didn't have my attachment with it. So, but I mean, I'm to the point now, you know, where
Did you send another one with you?
no, I got it when I get home because I left it at work, and so I mean, I did it on my work computer. But that'll be the first thing I do tomorrow morning. Is just, I mean, and I won't even think twice about it anymore. I mean, I've made the decision that I'm sending it.
Yeah.
I don't care because I want to go. I mean, because I looked at it, I want to go to that awakening, and this is how I've got to, you know, I've got to do this if I want to get to that awakening. I mean, and I had that struggle in my head, but I made the decision that this is what I want to do, and this is the only way I'm going to do it. And I got to overcome this fear and don't care. And that's what happened yesterday. I mean, the guy from Idaho Falls, he's my cousin. I haven't talked to him in many years. I'm thinking, what's he going to think if all of a sudden out of the blue, hey, you know, guy, you know, hey, you know, this may be something he's looking for. You know, I could be helping him out. And he emailed me right back. He says, "Hey, thanks for reaching out. This sounds really interesting. Tell me what it's done for you, and let's talk." And so we got an appointment to talk tonight. And so I that fear is gone. I don't care. I mean, if people want to listen to it, great. If not, so be it.
Okay, acknowledge. What's your tagline when you send something out or when you talk to somebody?
Well, I'm telling them that, first on the subject blank, I'm telling them this is a, great, business opportunity, and I'm basically telling them this is a new product out on the market, and I mean I've got, what I do.
Do you know what a tagline is?
Tagline is just what catches their eye, right?
Well, it's one sentence that gets them like a puppy dog going like this. Like, how do you do that?
Do you want to earn $10,000 a month? Do you want to earn an extra $10,000 a month?
Yeah.
Maybe if it wasn't today and it wasn't Utah, maybe that was like 20 years ago. But
so your product is a revolutionary product that ends pain, right? Okay. So it should be something along the lines of a breakthrough product that overcomes pain or heals pain or dissolves pain. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the email should start with, who do you know that wrestles with pain?
Oh, yeah.
You could be their saving grace.
when you send that email tomorrow, change the subject line.
Yeah.
For sure. Because they won't think of it.
Because what you want to do is get word to everybody that you know that they know who wants to end their pain. Is there anybody that does not know 5 or 10 people that are in pain of some kind, back pain, shoulder pain, whatever? And then beneath that little short little blurb, then you say, and because it's so revolutionary, you've got a chance to earn extra thousands effortlessly. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Shouldn't be any longer than that. Should be like 2 sentences and 2 sentences.
So they actually read it.
Yeah, so they actually read it, otherwise they won't.
Then they'll come back to you and say, whoa, can you tell me more? Just get their interest.
You can even take that and make it into a Facebook post.
Mm-hmm. I can refer people to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would appreciate
I know
that.
people in pain.
Mm-hmm. I know people in pain.
I know people in pain.
Send me their names, yeah.
I'm serious. Get them your names.
Change your subject matter because you already sent something to them.
Because
so it piques their eye.
Actually, as it turned out, I didn't really send much of anything to them because it was just kind of not much, and I wanted them to read, the attachment that I had that was talking about the product and the link and stuff like that. I didn't send any of it to it, so I mean, I really
Bob,
didn't give much any information at all.
You're like one of the better examples of somebody who's a prince who acts like a pauper.
Yes.
I mean, when you walk in a room, everybody gets that you're amazing.
Yeah.
From your presence, from the way you stand, you walk and talk, they can get that you're an amazing soul. But you carry yourself like a pauper, all that back and forth thinking, and it's like...
It's the fear that I've had ever since I was a kid.
Right. I understand. Let me tell you, when they see you after the awakening, they're going to be blown away. Mm-hmm. You're going to be like a lion that roars.
Yeah.
It's great.
He has a diaphragm.
It's so funny how people balk at a few $1,000s, but when you're talking about like Bob's income, for the next, what, 20, 30 years? And how much your income could increase if you just had a little more confidence. I mean, that much more confidence translates into, especially if you're in charge of your own income, if you're a salesman of any kind or a small business, it's no-brainer. You know, we're talking probably $250,000, you know, against a few $1,000s.
There's no way that I could take this $20,000 stretch for the 30 days.
Yeah.
And if it hadn't been for you coming to Unity last year in October and then going through relationships course and blast off and being into movement to mastery, my business was doing the money. I mean, we were on our way anyways. But every time I came to another one of Gary's classes, my business would jump. My business partner thought it was all him and what he was doing, but I know better. You know, and it just kept on jumping, and because of the stuff that I've learned in the last 6 months, I'm able to say, oh yeah, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go make $20,000 this month. When even Wilbur's, because part of my thing is getting traffic to my websites and watching other people's stuff, so sort of a traffic trade thing, and they're like, oh yes, make 1,500 this month. Make 500 this month or whatever, and it's like, oh, that's all you're gonna make. That's all you're gonna make, and I'm like, oh, shut up. Go to the next one. But without the new skill and getting in touch with myself every morning and night and doing the manifesting, I probably would have quit already.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because there'd be no way. And like, what? You're crazy.
Acknowledge. We acknowledge, Bob.
Sure.
So remember, when you text me every day, well, let me ask you a question. Is there anybody who hasn't texted me? Remember, 6 out of 7 days. In other words, you can take Sunday off if you want to, but in order to get your deposit back, you have to text me 6 out of 7 days. And when you say I did it, that means you did your visualization twice, you did your new skill, and you acted on your strategy some number. Okay? Is there anybody that didn't text me 6 out of 7 days last week?
I added a couple of days together because I had so much going on with late clients. I think I did that, but at least I did it. I acknowledged the day before.
Good. Terrific. Lance?
I took the weekend off and didn't text you. Or Saturday.
Okay. So are you ready to make a new commitment to do it 6 out of 7 days?
It's probably easier for me to just do it 7 days.
Okay.
That way I don't have to. It's a daily thing. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Great.
Awesome.
Okay.
And I put it on my calendar, but I put it around noon. And part of the reasons why I was forgetting is because I hadn't really achieved what I wanted to achieve by noon. And so then I didn't get reminded. So today I changed that to 8:30. So I figured if I haven't done it by then,
Good.
Do it right then. So.
Good.
Awesome.
Okay.
I kind of
Did you have a fear you wanted to?
Well, yeah. I mean, actually, I was going to ask you if it needed to be a fear, because
A barrier, obstacle, block, whatever's in the way of between you and hitting 100%.
Nothing noteworthy. But I do want to just make a quick comment on a saying that I need to remind myself pretty much with every task that I picked up from someone that it's just a great saying, and he basically would ask, if you're not giving it your all in everything that you're doing, what are you saving yourself for? And that really resonates with me, because the reality is that energy is infinite. You always have a little bit more to give, and so if you're going to do something, you should do it with all your intensity. So even if it's like relaxing, sometimes you have a tendency to sit down on the couch and take a quick break or whatever you're doing. But if you're going to truly relax, like don't feel guilty about it. Relax and put your feet up and just like do it 100%.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
Are you saving yourself?
Yeah. Good job, acknowledge.
And if you want to get your successes, I can give a success, but I can hold it if not.
Yeah, no, give a success.
Well, I alluded to you, but I never meditate, but I meditated Tuesday or whatever it was. And historically, I've been in the solar industry for about a year. And statistically, I make a sale maybe 1 out of every 12 appointments, which was way less than I anticipated when I started the business. And so I meditated on a new statistic, which is 50%. And so I had 2 presentations that day, and I made a sale on my second sale. So
awesome.
Yeah, I want you to know I have no doubt that I could increase your numbers significantly. If you're making 1 out of 12, that's tons of room for improvement.
That's awesome.
When I have salespeople who hire me to watch them do their presentation, I always increase their numbers. Whether they're speaking to a group, like Kevin Millay, when I watched him, it was like he had like 25 people in the room, and he signed up about 3 or 4. And after I polished his presentation, he had, I think, 10 or 11 in the same number of people go back and sign up. So that's a very wise suggestion. You ought to hire me to watch you do what you do so that I can show you how to make it a lot better. And just raise your numbers. You know, Corbin Wells, you know, he went from making 20 grand a month and increased his sales by 60% after, I think, 2 dozen sessions with him. You know, and all I did was go to his place, watch him be on the phone, and saw exactly where he was missing the mark and how he could get them to be more excited. Have you watched that DVD at all?
I'm working my way through it, yeah.
Good. Good. Because the genie game, or translating the genie game into your presentation, is the key. If you get them talking about what the value of that product is, where they keep talking and you keep them talking and get them to be more and more and more specific, then eventually they have a clunk. They have a direct experience of the value. It doesn't even matter what the product is. And that's when they're sold. Then you just eliminate the considerations. If they've had a clunk, no consideration will stop them. You just have to recreate them and listen to them and disappear them. All you have to do is listen to them. In the sales class, we teach people there's several things that you don't do when people have a consideration. Like you don't help them, you don't agree with them, you don't disagree, you don't make them wrong. But if they've had a clunk, no consideration will stop them. You just got to listen to them, and they will solve their own problem. If they haven't had a clunk, don't even talk about considerations, because any consideration will stop them.
Clunk meaning?
They have a clunk is a direct experience of the value. So it doesn't matter whether it's solar or pain patches or whatever. If I don't get you to talk about, like, first I say something that's touching, moving, and inspiring about my product. You know, solar would be like, you know, you'll save money and you'll save the planet as well. Something, but it doesn't matter, as long as it's moving. And then, what do you believe would be the best you could possibly get out of my product? And they'll give me an answer that'll be vague. And I've got to keep you talking, because the more you talk about it, the more you get specific, 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 and eventually you have a direct experience of the value of my product. And that's when you're sold.
So they make their own connection.
That's the moment that you are sold. Every sale happens in the instant somebody has a direct experience of the value.
Could we role play that for a second?
Say it again?
I'll be the client. So can we role play that for a second so we know exactly what you mean?
Yeah, except it's not a quick thing. I mean, it takes some time. But I'll give you a quick example. Go ahead.
So you just asked me, I'm the client. You just asked me, like, what other benefits do you think you'll get from having solar on your roof? And I say,
Yeah.
I guess it'll be nice to, not really have any electricity bill anymore.
Good. Why do you like that?
Just because they're always raising the rates.
So every year you spend a little more for your electric.
Yeah.
Has it gone up a lot in the last 5 years?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you like about the idea of having it not go up?
Just I'll have more extra. I'll just have more money, I guess.
Out of curiosity, if you had an extra $300 to $500 a year, what would be your favorite things to do with the extra money?
I'd take a trip.
Where would you like to go?
Iceland.
Iceland. Now, I don't know if you're noticing, but he's actually experiencing it.
Yeah, he's
You see
experiencing
in his face?
He lit up
When
more
he
than-
said Iceland, his eyes lit up.
The minute
Sure.
he said Iceland, there was
Even though it's a
fire
role
inside.
play, he's
Yeah.
going through it. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it won't take me very long before you'd be
He's
going like
taking a
this.
journey to the center of the
That
earth.
would be great. That's how a clump looks. A clump looks like, yeah, that would be good. Bam. Same thing with paint patch. You got to keep them talking until they get so specific that they have an experience of the value. The first half dozen answers are going to be vague. They're in their head. Doesn't do anything.
They're on the left side.
Sales are not logical. Sales are emotional. And the truth about sales is that everybody wants everything. Just like my 3-year-old. Watch a movie about outer space and the guy gets in a flying saucer and goes, I want to do that. Am I old enough to do that? Everybody wants everything. You just got to bring them to the experience of wanting it.
That's good. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, you betcha. Acknowledge. I'm telling you guys, if you haven't watched the DVD, that's a very strong suggestion. That's a $1,500 course.
Which DVD?
The Breakthrough Selling DVD. You guys are on the producer's team, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to get one anyway.
Yeah.
You get one for free.
You told us that a while ago. We were just doing it for the just about it.
I watched the
You just
video of
manifest
that course online.
Great
It's $75.
Can you share one or do you want your own? Good, thank you. That is 6.5 hours of the highlights, the best parts of a $1,500 course. And you can even do it online. And if you're in my workshop to get it for half price, it's $150 retail, get it for $75. Unless you're on the producer's team, in which case you get it for free. Okay, Gary?
Going right along with that, in there, that first segment, you talk about your niece or somebody building a fort.
Yeah, a little girl.
And
Right.
how it's just so much fun, and every hammer hit is just a piece of joy. It's not work.
Yeah.
And Mary Poppins definitely put it so well that in every job that must be done, there's the element of fun. Once
Yeah.
you find the fun, the job's a game.
Yeah.
And every task you undertake becomes a piece of cake. Ice cream. And so it's very easy to see. Just listen to Gary and watch the video, and then you get it.
Okay.
I do have something to share.
Yeah.
So this new job, like when I met you, we kept talking about inner child, and my inner child is like really pulling my adult. And one thing that was really interesting when I first started it this last week is the product is frozen and it's herbs, and then it's got this gel that helps the body feel like it's cold. So it's a thermogenic product. So the last couple times I've done some clients, by the way, they love me, so my boss loves me. And I really connected with that because when I was little, I loved playing with mud. And so as soon as I connected with the product, I'm like, oh, my inner child loves me. And
Yeah.
I was sure, with my clients and I, we were just having so much fun laughing.
Yeah.
Wow, they're like cold, but we're laughing and having fun. And I'm really loving that my inner child is finding her way back into the work that I do.
Right.
And I lost that. It seemed like everything was so much, the kids, the house, the bills, this and that. But now I'm really connecting with my inner child, is really having lots of fun. I get to play with mud. I get to tell the stories. I get to do everything.
Beautiful.
And that for me made a really huge shift this last week, even though things were very stressful.
Awesome.
Huge for me.
Fantastic. Acknowledge. Okay. Marie, any fears or obstacles you want to process?
Yes. So I'm sitting here listening to everybody and their success stories, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't had anything. I don't know what's going on here. I feel like my nonsense is starting to like rear its ugly head and everything like that. And it scares me. I don't know. There's a lot of things I don't know still, and I feel like I'm supposed to. I want to run the marathon, and I see the finish line in some ways, and I feel like I just keep tripping, and because I hear everybody else's stories and what they're doing and the successes and the overcoming the fears and the connections with inner child, and I'm like, man, I've got nothing, and it literally feels like I've got nothing, and it's freaking me out a little bit.
I want you to know that for you, Marie, one of the ways that you process information. Actually, there are several people in Movement to Mastery that have this issue, like Shayla and different people, but one of the ways you process information is that you will kind of use anything that's available against yourself. Like, everybody here's had fears. Most people have been a little bit brave, right? But your interpretation of that is they're probably doing a lot more than me, and I'm not doing anything, and what the hell's wrong with you? And it goes down this whole tunnel that's just completely useless. And so, like something I gave to Shayla that I think you might use is that your job in Movement to Mastery, or 30 days, is to just come and listen. That's your only requirement, okay? Which means that if you want to do anything else for yourself, like practice empowerment, dialogue, or whatever, now it's icing on the cake. It's not a requirement. It's not a have to. It's like, it's a big win. It's a big success. Okay?
Well, for 30 days, I just like, I can get lost in so much of everything that all this stuff where it's like, okay, I just have to eliminate everything. It's like, okay, just do these two things, just focus on these two things, and that's it.
Right.
And I just have to keep blocking everything else out.
Right.
Just focus on the two things I said, which was moving my emotional energy and connecting with my inner child. That's it. Just do those things.
Great.
We're good.
Great.
Just do that.
Great.
And that's for 30 days. That's my goal.
Great.
I feel like I'm supposed to have this huge thing, and I'm like, just doing the basics. Just focus on that. Just I can eliminate everything else that I'm feeling like I should, ought to, and have to do.
Good. Fantastic.
So.
Great.
Yeah.
So I want you to understand that you can use 30 days for manifesting money. There can be two things at one time. If you're already in this class and you're already trying to see if Spirit will lend you a hand, then you can use all the 30 days to peak performance to support this. You can kill two birds with one stone. Okay. But I want to make you aware of the fact that you process information by turning it against yourself. And whenever you can catch yourself doing that, do whatever you have to do to counter that. Because that's just Wilbur using a really dumb method of trying to get you on the right track. Like, Wilbur doesn't know a do-want language. Wilbur only knows don't-want language. So the way Wilbur says, I think you could be a little smarter in this situation. the way Wilbur says that is he goes, "You're an idiot. You are the stupidest person on the planet." You know what I mean? That's a really dumb way to get you to go in the right direction. Okay? So like right now, what your Wilbur was saying is, everybody else is doing good, and I want to do as good as that. But Wilbur doesn't say it that way. Wilbur just says, "See, you got nothing." Let's end it right now. And everybody's laughing because they can identify you. They know what Wilbur's talking about. You didn't hear Joel's story, you didn't hear Kim's stories, but everybody's been going through some version of it. Okay? So you're really not any different than anybody. Yay! You just have professional strength, Wilbur.
Great.
That's why I want you to awaken the challenger. Okay, everybody. You don't have to text me tonight. You can just tell me right now that you're doing it, unless you haven't done it. If you haven't done it, you can go ahead and do it tonight and then text me. But if you've done it, then just let me know. Okay? Okay. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Question?
I didn't get my turn.
Oh, hold on a second.
Okay, we have 5 minutes.
I didn't see your hand up, honey. Go ahead.
Get off my back.
Yeah, okay, so I'm with you, extra strength, Wilbur. So I went home last week, Tuesday, and I did what you suggested. I wrote down the 30 names, people, asked them, and I was so scared I was shaking.
Yeah.
And I couldn't ask them personally. I decided I was going to set a goal for myself to ask 5 people a day. And so I chickened out and I just sent them a message on Facebook. But I got 2 people responded, and so they're going to mail me a check.
How
cool. So we'll see. And then the next day I went to Vegas for a marketing convention, so I've been there all weekend. And so I really couldn't do it there. So I decided I was going to approach 5 people a day and give them my business card and give them my sales pitch. And I did it. And
good job.
I met a woman from Jamaica, and she's real excited to learn more about the products.
Great.
Sweet.
Fantastic. Acknowledge. So, see what you can do to get yourself to actually start with your easier people and call them up on the phone, ask them if you can talk with them, and either on the phone or in person, try that. You know, see if you can get yourself brave enough, even if it's 1 or 2 a day, just to put it on the line. Because
My
if
fear
somebody's
is that I don't know what to say.
so then write it out and role play it with somebody and see if it works.
You can call me
Right?
and some practice.
Will you give her money?
We'll see.
Yeah. What I'm saying is practice it and role play it so you get comfortable with it. Okay? So I'll give you a quick example of how you can ask them for money. You can go to them and say, I want you to know this is really scary for me. It's a big risk. I'm really nervous. You know, there's nothing wrong with saying your fears first, because it gets them on your side. And they're now with you and they want to comfort you. Okay? So I just want you to know this is really scary. I'm scared that it might get in the way of our friendship and da-da-da-da. And you can say, I found something that I think could really make a difference in my life. And then you want to say a sentence or 2 about what you're most excited to get out of it. Like, I've been riddled with anxiety my whole life and I really want to get beyond it. Or I've suffered with depression once in a while. Or I've just watched myself be too bitchy with my children, or whatever. But it should be something that really makes you touched inside. In other words, your little invisible antenna is what's talking to their little invisible antenna. It's not the words. The words don't count. It's the little invisible antennas. And the best way to get them to where they want to support you is to say something that moves and touches you when you say it. Like, what do you really, really want from the awakening? Like, what I'm really excited about is that it's going to help me to grow in these ways, and I'll be a better mom, or I'll be a better wife, or whatever. Or I think that I could really be so confident that I could really make a success and support my husband, whatever. It has to move you. And then you say, look, and what I want is I want some people to support me, and I'm looking to raise some thousands of dollars. And I wanted to know if you would feel good about loaning me some money. And I'd be happy to pay you back with interest. Or if you wanted to give you a gift, you can try for a gift first and see if they're willing to loan it to you. And you should never be afraid. If you're going to go to people with money, you should never be afraid to say an amount. I'm hoping I can find 4 people or 5 people that would lend me $1,000 each. Because if you say an amount and they can't do that amount, they'll give you $250 or $500. If you just say whatever you can do is fine, they'll give you $25. See what I'm saying? I'm looking for 5 people to give me $1,000. So well, I can't do that, but I'll give you $250, which is a lot better than 25. That make sense, Denise? Okay, you betcha. Okay, guys, have a great night. Does everybody have a contract, and has everybody given me a deposit?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you, Kim.
No.
Can I get your number?
Absolutely.
Oh.
I'll wait.